All right, Thursday thoughts for this week. As you can see, it's getting cooler here in Sydney, and basically I'm getting ready to go to the Maldives and get into some warmer water and warmer wind, which is interesting. So denser wind doesn't need to be as strong, and warmer wind has to be stronger. So does the same 15 knots here in winter in Sydney equal the same sort of bumps as what you'd expect in 15 knots in the Maldives or Hawaii? So many factors go into play, and I guess on that, is wind strength even what we should be measuring? Should we be measuring the period of the ocean swell instead? So would you prefer 0 swell and 20 knots of wind, or a metre of swell at 7 seconds and 10 knots of wind? So one to think about. I think we measure the wind too much and not the swell enough when we downwind, because you can downwind without swell if there's strong wind, but conversely you can downwind without wind if there is swell. So something to think about. Like today I was just out there and I did a sort of a longer one, but it was southwest, and our coastline kind of bends. It's east, north-south, so westerlies are a little bit offshore, but the swell was like southeast, and I was running the swells a lot more than I was running the wind. The wind was like going the wrong direction, but I was using the swells to cut in. So would you prefer more wind but at the wrong direction, or more swell at the right direction? And there is too big swell and too big a period swell, and too much wind and too little wind. But yeah, there definitely seems to be a sweet spot. So they're my thoughts for this week. Density of winds, density of water. It's my son playing in the background. He's just drawing something. And then temperature of wind, temperature of the water, how that affects pumping. It's another can of worms. And but yeah, head to the moon tours, 2 weeks, bit of warm weather, and then Hawaii's coming up. So that's why I'm thinking about the density of wind and the temperature of wind and water for pumping and whatnot. Salinity is another one, viscosity is another. They all sort of intermingle. But yeah, they're my thoughts this week. Thanks for tuning in, and speak to you next week.